It was a warm Saturday morning, at the beginning of April. The sky was soft and pale blue, and a few white clouds moved slowly like small boats on a calm lake. The air was still a little cool, but the sun already had that gentle golden light that made everything look peaceful and new. I decided to go for a walk in the park near my apartment. It was a place where I often went when I wanted to think, or when I simply wanted to feel the world moving quietly around me. The park was large, with long paths that turned between old trees. There was a small lake in the middle, and a fountain that made a light, clear sound when the wind carried the water drops to the side. Birds were singing in the branches, and I could hear the sound of children playing somewhere near the playground, the smell of wet grass mixed with the faint scent of blooming flowers, and everything felt simple and alive. I had been walking slowly for about 10 minutes when I saw someone standing by the path, near a bench under a chestnut tree. At first, I didn't pay much attention. Many people were in the park that morning. Runners, parents with children, couples walking hand in hand. But then I looked again, and something in that person's posture, in the way they turned their head, felt strangely familiar. It took me a few seconds to realize who it was. The light was strong, and the person's face was half in shadow, but when I moved closer, I recognized him. It was Jan, my old classmate from school. I hadn't seen him in years. Maybe 10. Maybe more time had passed quickly, and I had never expected to meet someone from that part of my life by accident, in such an ordinary place. Jan looked a little different. His hair was shorter now and a bit lighter, and he wore simple clothes, a dark jacket, jeans, and sneakers. He had a calm expression on his face, as if he was enjoying the quiet morning, just like I was. For a short moment, I didn't know what to do. Should I go and say hello, or should I just continue walking and let the memory stay as it was? But curiosity, or maybe something like nostalgia, made me step forward. When Jan noticed me, he looked surprised but then smiled, a warm, open smile that immediately reminded me of the days when we used to sit in the same classroom, share jokes and talk about things that felt important back then. He seemed genuinely happy to see me, and that made me feel unexpectedly comfortable. We started walking together along the path. There was no rush. The park was wide and calm, and the rhythm of our steps matched naturally. The trees around us were slowly turning green after the long winter. Tiny buds were opening on the branches, and the sunlight filtered through them, creating moving shadows on the path. It was a perfect day to remember the past and still feel connected to the present. Jan and I hadn't seen each other since the end of school. We had gone to different cities for university, then started working, and life simply carried us in separate directions. But as we walked, it felt like no time had passed at all. The way he moved his hands when he spoke, the light in his eyes when he remembered something. It was all so familiar that it felt almost unreal. We talked about small things first, the weather, the park, how peaceful the city looked that morning. Then we began to share short stories about what had happened in our lives since school. He told me that he worked for a company that designed software, and that he had recently moved back to the city after many years away. I told him that I had changed a few jobs, lived in a few different apartments, but always came back here because this city felt like home. The conversation was easy and natural. We didn't try to impress each other or talk about big successes. It was enough to know that we had both kept moving, learning, and growing in our own quiet ways. As we walked near the lake, I noticed the way the sunlight danced on the surface of the water. It made everything look soft and bright, as if the world itself was smiling. Ducks moved slowly near the edge, and a few children were feeding them pieces of bread. I could hear their laughter.
Hey,
It was strange to realize how quickly memories can wake up. Just hearing Jan's voice brought back so many small images. The classroom with its wooden desks, the sound of chalk on the board, the smell of rain outside the windows, and the feeling of being young and full of plans. Back then, everything seemed so clear and possible. We believed that the world was waiting for us to explore it, and that we would stay connected forever. But time had its own rhythm and people drifted apart. Still, moments like this one reminded me that the past never truly disappears. It only waits quietly until something or someone brings it back to life. We kept walking slowly, enjoying the soft sound of our steps on the path. I noticed small details. The way the wind moved the leaves, the light touch of air on my skin, the sound of a distant dog barking. John told me a few stories about his travels, about living in different places, and how he missed the simplicity of small cities. I listened and felt that same calm curiosity I had always felt around him. He hadn't really changed, only matured, become a little quieter, maybe more thoughtful. The park was getting busier. People came with coffee cups, bicycles, strollers. The sound of the city was still far away, but you could feel its quiet pulse in the distance. For a moment, I looked around and thought about how strange it is that our lives are full of invisible connections, like threads that stretch through time, bringing people together again when they least expect it. After a while, we reached a part of the park where the path turned and went down toward a small bridge. The air there smelled of water and grass. We stopped for a moment, standing by the railing, looking at the slow movement of the water below. The sunlight reflected on it in long broken lines, like a moving mirror. It felt peaceful to stand there. I thought about how simple and natural this meeting was, and yet how meaningful it felt. Sometimes we spend years searching for something, understanding, friendship, or even just a sense of connection. And then, suddenly, it appears in the most ordinary moment. Jan looked relaxed, his hands resting on the railing. His eyes calm. We both seemed to understand that this wasn't a big, dramatic reunion. It was just a small piece of life, something that would stay in memory as a soft, quiet picture. And maybe that was exactly why it felt so special. After a few minutes, we continued walking again. The path led us back toward the main entrance of the park. The sound of the city became clearer now. Cars passing, people talking, the faint music from a street performer near the gate. The conversation turned lighter again. We talked about small details, favorite places in the city, books we had read, films we had seen. There was something very easy about it, as if we had both grown enough to appreciate simplicity. No need to impress, no need to explain, just two people sharing a short moment in time. When we reached the main path again, we both slowed down. The moment had to end soon. It was clear without saying anything. He had his day ahead, and I had mine. But neither of us felt sad. There was a quiet satisfaction in knowing that life sometimes gives these short but meaningful connections. We stopped near the gate, where the street began again. The park behind us was full of sunlight and voices. I looked at Jan and felt that warm, light feeling that comes after a good conversation. We didn't make any plans, didn't promise to meet again, but it didn't feel like goodbye in a sad way. It felt complete, like a small circle closing perfectly. As I walked away, I felt lighter. The city seemed brighter, the air softer. The sound of my steps on the pavement mixed with the rhythm of distant traffic. And I thought about how strange and beautiful it is that life keeps bringing people back, even for a few minutes, just to remind us who we were and who we have become. The memory of the meeting stayed with me for the rest of the day. I thought about it while I made lunch, while I read a book in the afternoon light.